Hello and welcome to the DJ Force 10 in Conversation podcast, episode 155. And my very, very special guest on today's show is Harley Flanagan from the band Cro-Mags. They have got a new album out on Friday. In fact, it's their first album in 20 years. And it's almost 20 years probably to the day that I saw them live as well. So this is kind of crazy. It was really crazy for me. I'm still buzzing from it, to be honest. Literally got off the phone with him half an hour ago. Already edited up the interview. Literally, it was a crop at the start, crop at the end, and that was it. There was nothing else to really edit apart from that, which was absolutely great. And it was a great chat we had. But their new album is absolutely fantastic. Please go check it out. They've got a couple of singles out right now. I can recommend From the Grave, which was one of the first singles they released. And yeah, I love this band. It took me back to when I was 20 years younger, throwing shapes, getting pushed around in the pit, dodging, flying, turning kicks and whatnot. But yeah, no, it was great. I can't really put it into much more words than that, but I hope you guys enjoy it as much as I did doing it. So, but yeah, apart from that, I just want to thank everyone for downloading these shows over quarantine. Now they're kind of like they're easing in various places of the world. They're easing in the UK here. I'm back at work next week, so you know, they're kind of letting us out. And yeah, I just want to thank everyone that's been supporting doing this during this time. I'm really glad that you guys are here and enjoying the ride. We're going to continue doing this. We're not going to do it every day like I have been during quarantine. It's probably going to go to a weekly, bi-weekly basis. But also, the really exciting news as well is the return of Crossing the Streams, which long-term listeners will know that is my multi-genre metal mix show, kind of where I do like a club mix of rock and metal, remixes, mixing with a bit of dance music here and there as well, just to kind of like cut up the stuff. But no, we're returning that on Total Rock. The powers that be at Total Rock are very enthusiastic about that as well. We're swapping it the same time slot as in Conversation, which this is now just going to be a podcast as of that date. So I've got a few more Sundays left of posting up my interviews and conversations, but then we're going to go back to the music mix show. So very hyped for that. And I've got a couple of like back-to-back episodes, or the old Versus episodes that I used to have. I'm now going to call them back-to-back because it's not really a competition. It's just a bit of fun. But I've got a couple of people lined up for that as well. So we're going to have a lot of fun with it, and I'm really, really looking forward to it because it's something I have missed over the past year, and it's something that I really want to get back to, and here we are. So Total Rock, this is still will still be associated with Total Rock, this podcast, but also I'll have my multi-mix show on there as well, which is something that is more of a passion on that front as well. It kind of keeps me in the DJing mood, if you will, and I certainly missed it over this sort of lockdown period and all that kind of stuff. But I literally only got off the phone with Harley half an hour ago, and I've cropped it, and this is the interview in all its bones and everything like that. I hope you guys enjoy it as much as I did doing it. Like I said, I got a few more this week. I've definitely got my DJ one for next week. I want to thank everyone for downloading the ones last week. Again, thanks to Broadside, Call Me Malcolm, Thunder Mother, Local H, and the awesome Cutmaster Swift. So guys, this is Harley of Cro-Mags. Enjoy. Thank you very much for doing this, first and foremost.
Oh man, pleasure.
I really appreciate it. You when I got the opportunity to do this, took me back a few years, as it may. Back in the UK, I was when I was in my sort of like late teens, early 20s, I was very much into my hardcore, and specifically the New York scene, which you guys were part of. Being in London, obviously doesn't help because you're quite far away, but yeah, having seen you guys live and everything as well, it's an absolute damn pleasure to speak to you.
Well, man, thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be on your show, bro.
Excellent. Well, yeah, your new album, that's what we're here to talk about, and it's called In the Beginning, and is out the end of this week, actually, the 19th of June.
Yeah, like
nice
5 days.
That's crazy, isn't it?
It's unbelievable, man. It's like it's so long in the waiting. You know.
I was going to say it's been 20 years. It's been 20 years since I've seen you live as well, because I worked it out. It was around the year 2000.
Yeah.
In London at the Underworld.
Mm-hmm.
A very sweaty show, I remember it being. Don't remember much else because my memory is hazy after 20 years. But I was, like I say, I was very much into you guys, you know, like other bands like Earth Crisis, Vision Disorder, Sick of It All that kind of stuff as well. But no, you guys were really, like, I really loved the album you had out at the time, Revenge. There was a track on there that I really loved. It was called Pressure Drop. And
yes.
I just like, it's one of my sort of like all-time favorite like hardcore songs, if you will.
Right.
So,
hopefully there's some stuff on the new album that you'll.
There is.
Much, and I'm actually in the studio now again. I'm already like recording for the next album because you know, we've obviously had some time. With all this quarantine business, so like I was supposed to be on tour, but instead I wound up writing a whole bunch of new material. So I've been recording and just kind of, you know, trying to keep busy until we're able to get on the road next year.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, that's really cool. I look forward to hearing that. But this album, the first track I heard was From the Grave, which I thought was really good. The guys at the PR sent that to me, and then they actually, obviously, once this opportunity came through, I got to hear the whole album. And I must say, it's absolutely brilliant. It took me back to like when I could throw shapes and things like that in the pit and whatnot. Being like 40 now, it kind of I dislocate things doing that. So
40, I wish I was 40, man. 40 is great.
Oh yeah.
No, well, I'm glad you liked it. You know, yeah, it was a lot of fun, you know, working on it. You know, and you know, now I got 2 record labels behind me. I can start recording more. And try to keep busy. You know, it's I'm feeling really good.
Good. Excellent. I really like The Final Test. That was one of my favorite tracks off the new album. I think it was around track 6 or 7. I think that was.
I remember. I mean, yeah, and you notice it's obvious, it's different on the single than it is on the album itself. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
No, but
we tried to mix it up a little so that, you know, it wasn't exactly the same on the singles. You know? Yeah,
definitely. I was going to say it takes it in a few different like sort of styles and stuff like that, but I like kind of like the sort of groove that you guys have is just obviously you being the bass player as well. You kind of contribute to that too.
Also, you know, the fact that I'm a drummer originally, so like me and my drummer, we really, you know, we communicate really well. You know, a lot of times I'll have ideas and I'll explain stuff to him, and you know, because he, you know, he's just a badass. You know, he can take it to another level. You know, he takes it to 11. Where you know, I can take it to 10. He can take it to 11. You know, and so yeah, it's a lot of fun. You know, I got some really talented guys on this album. It was a lot of fun to record with them.
No, that's really cool. I can definitely hear it. I mean, there's a lot of power behind the album. I found, like I said, it literally moved me, like as in physically wanting to sort of like hark back to that, and it kind of gave me that real kind of like, just that, I don't know if it was a nostalgic kick, but that impetus to move, if you will.
That's good. I mean, that's really what it's all about. You know, I mean, I've always felt that, you know, my music, if done right, it should inspire movement, like you say. No, it should inspire your body to want to dive into the pit, or just to swing your fists, or you know, to skateboard, or to surf, or to, you know, jump out of a fucking airplane, or you know, whatever it is that gets your adrenaline, whatever. You know, that's always been what this genre has been for me. You know, a way to release. You know, I mean, you know, I play a lot of different styles of music. I listen to a lot of different types of music. But this is, you know, if I'm not playing what you hear me play on record, you know, that's really the only style that releases that all of that shit that's inside me. You know, after I'm done, I feel like I I worked out, or I feel like I feel like I had a fight, or like I just fucked my brains out, or I just like feel like I just, shot my fucking load in every way. Like, physically I'm mangled, my fingers hurt, my body hurts, I'm sweating my ass off, and I know I just fucking worked really hard, and I feel really good. That whole release, if I'm not getting that experience out of it, then something's missing.
Yeah. No, definitely. I was in a band for a while as well, and we kind of made the sort of aggressive side of music, and definitely, there's a definite release when you're sort of like on. Absolutely. When you're performing, or even if you're writing, there's that kind of element.
Yeah, I mean, just even for me, just playing the instrument, performing is fun because you get to, interact with the energy of the crowd and stuff, but honestly, just playing, even, practicing with my guys I love it. I mean, when we did the quarantine show, I was playing in front of nobody, but you could tell I was still having fun because I was, still working up a sweat, still having a good old time. Gotta love what you do, man. If not, you gotta do something else.
Exactly. And that quarantine show was good fun. I did watch a bit of that, so that was good fun. I was hoping to do the actual gig we had booked that day, but it's like, hey, you know what? You got to make the best out of even a shitty situation, right? It's one thing that one thing about punk rock and hardcore and poverty, that you learn. You learn how to make a good situation out of a shitty one. Yeah, no, I was going to ask you how the sort of like quarantine has been treating you, because like I've spoken to a few bands during this time, and like at the beginning, a lot of it was kind of like I think the term was building a plane in flight. Because not many people knew exactly what they needed to do, or what they, obviously some bands figured it out eventually. A lot of live performances sort of came out. But how has that been for you with an album, like promotion wise and stuff like that?
Well, it sucks again that like we did have a bunch of shows lined up for this summer that got canceled. So obviously that sucks. I was really looking forward to that, but I always try to be productive in some way, shape, or form. So while I've been home, I've been writing. I wrote like over 65 tunes since. Oh, wow. I mean, not all the lyrics, but I mean, I've written over 65 pieces of music, literally, like probably like 67 or 8, and I've been going into the studio over the past few weeks and recording them. So, by the time this thing ends, I'm going to have next year's album and more.
Amazing.
If not done, at least mostly done or partially done. My drummer came over. We were supposed to be on tour, and he lives in Germany.
Oh, wow.
My drummer lives in Hamburg, so he's been here this whole time. He got stuck here, which has been great for us because we've been getting to play together, and we've been able to write. So we are taking advantage of the time to record. I mean, all you have is now.
Yep.
That's all you have. The past is gone, and you don't know what the fuck is lays ahead. You can make all the plans you want, but you got to live in the moment and be productive every day that you are alive and breathing. And so I'm not, I wish I was on tour right now, but you know what? I fucking love playing. I love writing. I love being in the studio. I'm tracking with Steve Zing, the bass player from Danzig. He's an old friend of mine, great sound man. And Arthur Rizek is also going to be involved with the production again. So I got a great production team and obviously great players. And, fuck it, man. Be productive, man. Every day that you're alive, man. Even if you're stuck in your house, people are like, whenever my son says, I'm bored, I'm like, do push-ups.
Yeah. Give him something to do.
I'm like, fuck, you're bored? What the fuck is that? Like, do something.
No, that's the kind of thing I've had. Like, whenever I've not been, I don't think I've been bored like during this lockdown side of things. I mean, I've been interviewing people like yourself, a lot of musicians, because everyone's at home. But also I've got my own family as well, so I've been homeschooling the kids.
Yeah, you got to fucking roll with the punches, man. You never know what life is going to throw at you, man. And people fucking, everybody's bitching about shit and like, quarantine. I'm like, man, you fucking kidding me, man? This ain't shit, man. Imagine if you were like, imagine fucking, think about motherfuckers who were like hiding out, in World War II, like hiding behind walls for like waiting for a war to end. I can't leave at all because somebody's going to fucking try to kill me if I go outside. Like, and you're bitching because you've been fucking in quarantine for a few months. Like, yeah, fucking sometimes life is a motherfucker, and you got to deal with it.
Yeah, no, exactly.
So, the thing is, you just have to fucking deal with it,
Yeah.
And this has been a confusing, complicated time, Now everybody's starting to get pissed off about the quarantine, this and that, but quite frankly, this is a new frontier, man. Nobody knew what to expect. We kind of had to lock down just to try to keep everybody safe until we figured it out, until we know what the fuck is going on. God willing, they'll come up with, vaccines, and our immune systems will start to develop against this type of shit, like has happened in the past.
Yeah.
But I think that it was important that our leaders, not that I consider my president any kind of a leader, but my governor, my mayor, that they'd lock down. They needed to do that shit.
Yeah.
And maybe it was a bit extreme, but now we know.
Yeah.
And now we are going to, now hopefully, when, and I'm not going to say if, but when this type of shit happens again, because it's inevitable now that, the cat's been let out of the bag, the shit's going to happen again, whether it's, whether evolution, causes more pandemics, or whether, biological terrorism or fucking, biological warfare, shit like this will happen again. Yeah. So hopefully, we learn enough from this time round so that we can handle ourselves well in the future.
Yeah, definitely. At least to stem the flow of it, because if anything does happen, like you say, biological warfare or whatever,
it's gonna happen. Now that like people have seen what kind of how effective this was as far as terrorism goes. They've seen how much economic damage and how much fear that they were able to put out there with this. It's inevitable that some scumfuck is going to use this as a way to make their point.
Yep. No, definitely. No, I can see that happening. Definitely. What I want to take you on to now is obviously you were part of a film recently or last year.
Yes,
Between Wars.
Yeah.
I've unfortunately I've only seen the trailer for it. I've not been able to see the whole film as of yet.
You can, for anybody out there interested, if you can watch it on Vimeo. It's available now. They were looking for distributors. There was a bunch of people that were interested, and then again, this Corona thing hit, and that really threw a curveball at everybody. And so with the success of the show that I did, we got like over 200,000 views on that thing. And then Ice-T just recently put out a movie on the internet the same way we did. It just seemed, again, like, in this, when things like this happen, you have to adjust, you have to pivot and try to, obviously people aren't going out to movies anymore. So the idea of trying to put it in a theater or anything like that went kind of down the toilet.
Yeah.
So, but you know what? Fortunately, in this day and age, we have the ability to reach out to each other, even if it's via the internet or this or that. We can still communicate, we can still interact, and we can still do great things.
Yeah, no, definitely. Could you tell us a bit about the film, if that's all right? I mean, I know you're a part of it, and you've done some of the soundtrack as well.
Well, exactly. I mean, Cro-Mags have 3 songs in it. I actually have another tune in it that I did that isn't Cro-Mags, but I played a part in it. I'm like my character's name is McManus. He's like a low-level Irish gangster, like works for a drug dealer and operates an underground fight club in the basement of his bar. And it's that it was a fun part to play.
Nice.
Especially since, and it goes down in the Bronx, which is funny because I can walk to the Bronx. I'm like walking distance from the Bronx. I do have Irish blood. I did used to fight in underground fight clubs. So the whole thing kind of was an easy role for me.
Yeah.
Like I didn't actually have to act very much. All I had to do was like, okay, I can recall situations like this, so it was pretty easy where that went. But the story is about a combat veteran, a Marine who comes back with post-traumatic stress disorder and basically returns to his old neighborhood, which is just like, all his friends are like total fuck-ups. And so he has to return to this life that he basically was trying to escape in a way.
Yeah.
And now he's coming back and he's all fucked up in his head from the war. And how is he coping with it? And Michael Imperioli from Goodfellas and The Sopranos, he is a psychologist and also ex-Marine in the movie, who's counseling the main guy.
Yeah.
So it's cool.
Cool.
It's interesting.
I'm going to have to get it. I didn't realize it was on Vimeo. I should. I was going to go check it out. I'm a big independent film fan anyway.
Yeah, no, this was, bro, if you're a fan of independent films, this was really cool. I mean, we filmed this shit in like 9 days.
Oh, wow.
During a fucking heat wave. I mean, it was like we were sweat fucking balls. He did the shit for like 10 grand. We had one camera, and the fucking thing came out good, man. And like the characters in it, like, all the gang members in it are like actual bloods. Like they are all real gang members. They're all like ex-convicts and real dudes. And the guy that I get into it, I'm not going to say much about what happens, but the guy that I get into it at the end, I mean, I don't know if you ever heard of General Butt Naked from Liberia, but he's like a tribal warlord who used to like, go into battle naked. That's how he got the name, because he thought that he couldn't get pierced by bullets if he was naked. And he would do like voodoo rituals and like cannibalistic shit, like eat people and stuff before he would go into battle, like crazy shit. The guy that I go up against in the movie was one of his like child soldiers.
Okay.
I mean, this guy is like no fucking joke. Like this dude, you want to talk about like crazy shit, look up General Butt Naked on YouTube, okay? You want to fuck, and when people, next time people start thinking their life sucks, all right, put that shit on and be like, wow, hell exists and the shit is on Earth and there's a bunch of fucking ill motherfuckers with machetes running around, and yeah, so like the people in this movie,
yeah,
these cats are no joke, man.
Wow, that's cool.
Like they were scary. Well, guess what? They weren't acting.
No.
Scary.
Excellent. No, look, I'm definitely going to check that out then. I didn't realize, like I said, I didn't realize it was on Vimeo. So yeah, I'll definitely be checking that out. I've got a couple of questions left for you. I can let you get on with the rest of your day.
Right.
But what I want to know is these are sort of more about your sort of like, about yourself generally. But it's what I want to find out are your 3 albums that really made an impact on your life. The one that made you like want to take up drums or play bass or sing, or the one that just sort of got you into music, anything like that. I'm just looking for like those sort of like 3 albums.
It's so difficult for me because I have such a wide range of music that I love and listen to. I could answer that question in different ways, like, what are the 3, if I was to say, what are the 3 records that maybe influenced my style of songwriting the most, or my style of playing the most, or, because if I was to say what 3 records, I mean, God, I like the first record I bought was probably like, it was either Music in the Key of Life by Stevie Wonder, or or Headhunters or Secrets by Herbie Hancock. I don't remember which. And like I grew up, loving, Bob Marley and Billie Holiday and Santana, and listening to all kinds of crazy shit. And then, my mother got me the Sex Pistols album like the week or so after it came out, 'cause she just happened to be in England, and, she was really into music, and she went into a record store, and, she knew I was already a musician. I was playing music already. And she went to the record store and said, what's cool? What are the kids listening to now? And the guy said this, and he gave her the Sex Pistols, Nevermind the Bollocks, and the Damned's first album, and a bunch of Stiff records, like the Damned's first singles on Stiff, and like Nick Lowe and Reckless Eric and Ian Dury and a bunch of other shit that was just on the fringe of punk, so that had that not happened, I would have probably been like a funk or jazz dude. That was the road I was going down.
Yeah.
But the Sex Pistols changed my life. And then of course I just started grabbing anything and everything punk, and anything that was even weird, because at that point it wasn't so definitive. You could, anything that was even remotely not mainstream, you would at that point check out, just because it was different, and then until punk became more defined, then it was like, this is punk.
Yes. Yeah.
And then of course the same process happened with hardcore. In the beginning it was more loosely, and it became more like, this is the stereotype of how it's supposed to be.
Yes. Yeah, and you get all the offshoots of the subgenres of it as well. So.
Yeah. And I always find that the first generation of shit is the really interesting one, because there's no rules yet.
Yeah.
So everybody's kind of doing their own take on it, I think, and that's why it's interesting,
Yeah.
But for me, the records that I'd have to say, the Bad Brains' first cassette, which wasn't even an album, it was a cassette. That was changed my life. Actually the first single they put out, that changed my life. And then the cassette, just a continuation of that. And of course I was friends with them back then, and when they were recording that stuff, I would have to say the Sex Pistols and the Damned's first album, they changed everything for me. But I can't say three, because Ace of Spades has to be in there, because that was a game changer for me. Master of Reality was a game changer for me. There's no way I cannot say Black Sabbath and Motorhead and the Bad Brains. There's no fucking way that I cannot say those bands. But how can I leave out Hear Nothing, See Nothing, Say Nothing? How can I leave out black metal?
Yeah.
I mean, these are records that really fucking shaped my songwriting. I fucking talk shit about Kronos's bass playing, man. Fuck you. I love Kronos's bass playing. He's besides whether you fucking want to hate on his bass player or not, he wrote some great fucking songs, and none of those motherfucking death metal, thrash metal, fucking metal, whatever the fucks, not one of them would sound the fucking way they do if it wasn't for Venom. So all the shit they want to talk about Kronos, they could fucking stick right up their ass, because they would sound the fucking way they do if not for him. Yeah. So fucking blow my fucking dogs. You can fucking go suck my dog's dicks. Fucking give them props. Okay? Motorhead, Bad Brains, Habit. These are the things that made me. Hear Nothing, Say Nothing changed my fucking life. I always think of Discharge like there was before Discharge, and then there was after Discharge. Shit just changed after that album.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was like all of a sudden people were like, whoa, that's what power sounds like pow, it's sounds like a fucking Panzer division coming through your house, oh my god, what the fuck does that
No,
so,
definitely. No, that's a damn. I mean, I sod the three, but no, it's a damn fine collection, and you're right. You can't just sit it down.
I can't give you three, bro. And how the fuck can I leave out Bob Marley's fucking the live album? Was it just Bob Marley Live? That's what it was called. Not Babylon by Bus, but the other one, the one that I think was recorded in England in 70s. What was it, 77 or 9? I don't remember that. That's one of the albums that I've been playing longer than any album I've been playing in my life.
Yeah,
and still do.
Cool. No, Bob. I was listening to Bob Marley the other day, in fact. But finally, what are your hobbies away from music? So when you're not writing stuff, I know you kind of...
Jiu-jitsu is really the only other hobby. I mean, and it's not even a hobby. It's really just, it's just another one of my limbs, Like, music is like my arms, jiu-jitsu is like my legs, and, my family is my heart and my soul,
Cool. Well, thank you very much. I've absolutely loved speaking to you today, Harley.
Pleasure talking to you, man. I look forward to hopefully we can do it in person.
Yes, definitely. Hopefully, if the dates next year go ahead, I will definitely be there in London. So
it's got like 2 weeks in the UK, from what I understand. Like a bunch of shows all over England, as well as a bunch of shows in Ireland and Scotland. So if I had my way, I'd get an extra school bus or some shit and fill it up with a bunch of maniacs and fucking do a tour with like my own army of fucking hooligans and just have a good time for a fucking couple weeks. So if anybody wants to arrange that,
I'll put the feelers out for you.
I'll put you all on the guest list every night. You just have to fucking sign up,
Awesome. Harley, thank you very much, man. You have a fantastic rest of your day, all right?
You too, brother. You take care, man.
Bye-bye.
Ciao. Bye.